This is the Wednesday edition of the I Love Sebel show with the fabulous Christina Blunt. She's going to join us in a matter of moments. You already have questions coming in for you, Christina.
Really?
Yeah, look at the popular gal over here. She is the general manager of Moe's on Ivy Road. She's a friend of the program. She is an experienced restaurant veteran. I can say that.
Yeah.
How long have you been in restaurants?
Since I was 16, and I'm 25 now, so
I mean, almost 10 years?
10 years, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's experience.
That's crazy.
She's grown up in the area. She has a lot to offer from a perspective standpoint. Tremendous head for business, Christina has, especially with restaurants. So we'll talk Moe's. Moe's has sold. We'll talk the future of Moe's. We'll talk the fabulous Abrams. You love the Abrams. I love the Abrams.
Love them so much.
So much to cover on today's program. If you want to give Christina props, put your comments in the feed. We'll relay them live on air. Send me a DM. This show airs on every social media platform. And Christina's popular. Look at Christina over here.
I'm blown away that this is already getting questions.
Look at the friends Christina's got. All right, we will get to them. Judah Wickower, we can start the program when you're ready, sir. Guys, good Wednesday afternoon. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love Sebel show. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in downtown Charlottesville in our building, the Macklin building, where our studio is located. But our audience is Central Virginia-wide, Commonwealth-wide, country-wide, and worldwide on the I Love Sebel network. Today, we're presented by Skooma Boutique Dispensary, 2 locations in Charlottesville, one on the downtown mall and one off the UVA corner on Elliowood Avenue. Skooma Boutique Dispensary, and we want to give some props in the spotlight to our friends at the Clifton, who on the first Thursday in September are introducing a music series that are going to feature Coda and Marie of Chamomile and Whiskey. So more details on that. However, I regress. All today's spotlight is on a restaurant that we love, started by a couple that we love, run by a fantastic team. One of those team members in-house today, and Christina Blunt. And we're also going to showcase the new owners, Derek Bond of the Melting Pot fame, who on Monday of this week purchased officially Moe's on Ivy Road. Let's go to Judah Wickower, and let's go to the studio camera. And immediately you're gonna identify and highlight and recognize the fabulous Christina Blunt on set. How are you?
I'm great, Jerry. Thanks so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. It's absolutely our pleasure. And before we talk shop, how about an introduction to you, Christina the person?
Absolutely. My name's Christina Blunt. I have been the GM over at Moe's Original Barbecue for 4 years now, which is so crazy. I've grown up in Charlottesville. I went to Western and UVA, graduated in 2019, started working at Moe's when I was in college, just as like a cashier job, and slowly moved up the ranks and have been running the restaurant alongside Mike and Ashley Abrams, who are so near and dear to my heart, and now Derek Bond. So yeah, I'm definitely a local and a townie, as they would call you.
Christina's getting questions. Scott in Virginia Beach wants to know if you guys are going to be open next month when he comes to visit. You guys aren't closing.
We are not. No, we did not close. We were closed the day of the close, which was this past Monday, which if you have been familiar with how Moe's has been going the past couple of months, we've been closed Sunday and Monday for the past couple of months, but that is now changing. And beginning this week, we will be open 7 days a week again, which we're all really excited about.
Let's talk Abrams, Mike and Ashley. I mean, A-plus people.
Yes.
I mean, start a barbecue joint in Charlottesville. What I noticed of working alongside Mike and Ashley was they were more than just employers.
Oh, yes.
I mean, like these people were like, for some team members, almost like a sounding board, a therapist, like someone to hug and cry on, a friend, a North Star. I mean, talk to us about the Abrams and how they've had success in restaurants.
Yes, I was hired as a little 21-year-old and just, regular cashier bartender, but very quickly got to be close friends with them and almost became a part of their family. I have Mike's mom's number, his sister's numbers, and I've grown up with the boys, really watched them. Jake was 6 months old when I started at Moe's, and now their kids are a lot older, and so it's been great to work alongside them and get to know them on not just a professional level, but also a friend level. And they are people that will be in my life for years to come, even though they have gone on past Moe's.
Very well said. So Derek Bond, now the owner. We know Derek Bond, also a friend of the program from the Melting Pot. Talk to us about this transition. What can we expect?
Yeah, Derek is a very experienced and well-respected restaurant owner in the community. He's owned the Melting Pot for 14, going on 15 years now, which, says in itself how great of a business owner he is, and I'm stoked to be working alongside him. Just from our past couple of weeks of interaction, I've just been able to see how much he truly cares and how much time he's invested into getting to know the business, and he's got some grand ideas about the direction he wants to take Moe's, and kind of things that I've always wanted to incorporate, and we're working really well together so far as a team, and so I'm really excited about it.
So the questions are already coming in fast and furious, and you, the viewer and listener, can ask Christina questions, give her props. We are going to take a holistic view on restaurants in Central Virginia because she knows them so well. So this will be talk on Moe's, it'll be talk on operations, talk on making it through COVID. So much I want to cover with her. So the questions come in, will the menu change with the new owner, and what are some of the changes we can expect?
No real changes. Just a little insider info, there is a turkey shortage going on. Yep. I don't know how prevalent that is known amongst other restaurants or customers, but we are struggling with the turkey supply. So if anything, we might have to take turkey off of our menu for a little while, but no other significant changes. If anything, we're going to bring back some more specials. I'm really hoping to get 75-cent wings back on the board for Saturdays to kind of commemorate the start of football season and all that stuff.
So Danny O'Day watching the program, he's a Western Albemarle graduate, and he says maybe the best wings in town. I love Moe's. I've said on this show, if you like smoked wings, the wings at Moe's are the best wings in town. If you don't like smoked wings, I'll say Chim's are up there for me, but I give Moe's the #1 slot, best wings in town, because I'm a huge smoked wing fan. How about making it through COVID? I mean, it doesn't have to be specific to Moe's, but can you highlight like trials and tribulations and like how every day, like getting to work, it was like, do we pivot this? Do we change this? Do we stay open? Do we close? Just give us the snapshot and then we'll take a deep dive.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the biggest change probably that you can see across the board is this pivot from dine-in to the to-go option, and how restaurants needed to adapt to that. And unfortunately, a lot of restaurants weren't able to adapt to that. Moe's luckily has a pretty easy menu for takeout, so we were lucky in the fact that we could easily pivot to that style of food delivery. So, but not every restaurant could do that. But from staffing issues to initially when people got COVID, you'd be out for 10 days. And so, somebody gets COVID, you're out. We would have to test everybody. And so, just so many different variables affected how we were able to get through COVID and how all restaurants were able to get through COVID. Very happy that it's towards the end of all of that going on.
Was it your most challenging time in restaurants ever?
Yes.
Not even close?
No, by a landslide was COVID the most intense. And we shut the dining room down for 3 months, and I know that was a longer case for some restaurants, and so not having anybody in there, it just affects morale, and it affects just everything.
Lori Griggs giving you props, Alvin Chris giving you props, folks in Lynchburg, Crozet, Ivy, Keswick, Shadwells, downtown Charlottesville, Virginia Beach, Newport News, Arlington, and some in Pennsylvania watching you right here on the Fine and Fair Talk Show.
I feel like some of you guys probably are some of my bar regulars for all those football and basketball games.
I think that may be the case. Chef Jabari is watching the program. He said you're 100% right. Chef, if you have questions for the general manager, put them in the feed and we will relay them live on air to Christina. So how do you characterize, because I respect your business acumen tremendously, how do you characterize the environment now for restaurants? We're seeing still a lot of closings. Mm-hmm. We know labor is tough. Mm-hmm. You talked about cost of goods and supply chain with the turkey. Mm-hmm. How do you characterize it now?
So for me personally, and for Moe's personally, I have really tried to instill with my staff the experience aspect of it, because especially with inflation and everything going on right now, people are going to go out to dinner and they want to make it a special experience because they might not get to do it all the time anymore because of how how expensive things are and how just crazy it's been since COVID. So I try to focus a lot on the experience. We at Moe's view the experience as the second they walk in the door. So first thing they see, it's got to be positive, it's got to be welcoming, it's got to be warming, from when they walk into the door to when they're picking up the food in the window. And so just all about the experience. Obviously, the food is a very important part too, but just making sure that everybody has a really positive and welcoming and warm experience at Moe's to keep them coming back. And that's what I really focus on.
Scott says he loves what he's hearing from you, and he's going to come visit you next month at Moe's.
Yes.
He's going to travel from Virginia Beach. He just scooped up a customer, Christina did, by coming on the pod here. Do you guys maintain labor? You guys, Mike and Ashley did a good job of maintaining labor, and you, I'll straight up say this, as important a team member at that business as any. I've said that many times on the show. I said it to Derek when he was looking at buying the business. I said, you got to retain her.
Yes.
Okay. So how did you guys go about doing it? Why are some restaurants and businesses having success maintaining labor and others are not? We're even hearing grumblings, and we don't need to let any cats out of the bags, that some team members aren't even getting paid at this point. So how did you guys maintain labor throughout all this?
Just taking care of them like you would your family. That's something that Mike and Ashley instilled in me from the beginning is, Moe's is a family. We take care of each other. I've gotten to be really close friends with all of my employees, and all of, we do social gatherings and have fun at work. And so I treat them like I would my family. I'd give any of them the shirt off of my back. And so I think that's really important to, make them not only feel like, yes, you're here to do a job and you're getting paid to do that job, but like I also would, do anything to keep you at this job. And I don't know if all restaurants treat their employees like that. I would hope so, because that's how I would want to be treated. But just making sure that they're happy and that they're getting what they need while you're also getting what you need from them. It's it's a balanced relationship.
Christina is crushing it right now on this talk show. My gosh. This question: how do you see the industry evolving? I mean, we've talked about, I think you guys are set up so well because you have a pickup window. You're not front of the house heavy on staff. Mm-hmm. Your food does such a great job, Moe's Food, at traveling in the to-go setting. Mm-hmm. I mean, heck, barbecue is almost in some circumstances best in this to-go little styrofoam setting.
Yeah.
That's how it was served for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you guys are primed for success with all this variables that you have going on. But how do you see the industry evolving in this post-COVID world?
So many ways, our takeout business, and I'm sure this is for every restaurant too, takeout business is just booming, and that trickles down, deep into the internals of the restaurant, making sure that we're always stocked up with to-go supplies, because that pops off at any minute. We're also kind of seeing a jump in, not only our caterings, which I'm very happy that regular caterings are coming back, but the boxed and the bags and all that stuff. People are still trying to be cautious about COVID, and it's really important that we cater to those needs, because not everybody's going to feel comfortable coming into the restaurant and dining in with us. So we got to make sure that we can also provide them the service and the experience that they would get in the restaurant, even if they're not going to be able to dine in with us. And so I think that's evolving for everybody, trying to figure out ways that you can bring the experience to them per se.
Bill McKenzie's watching in the city, he says, and back in the day, Moe's was pit barbecue. It was hickory smoked on site. Is it not still?
That is still correct.
It's still, right?
Yes, our smoke, you might be used to seeing kind of a big black smoker in our parking lot. That was kind of a smoker that we would use for large events if we had so much meat that was going out that we would need to have a second smoker. But we do have a smoker inside the restaurant, and we still use the hickory wood in there, so no worries that you're still getting the original pit barbecue experience per se that you're referencing there.
Very well said, and highlight the commitment that an owner of this business has. We would often see Mike Abrams smoking meat early.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the dude was grinding at the restaurant.
Yes, on Mike's last day, last Saturday, Mike worked from 6:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. I was with him the whole day.
That is so Mike Abrams.
Yes, it's Mike Abrams. His last day, it's going out with a bang. We had a massive 500-person catering going out for the marching band at UVA, and that's, putting in the time and everything is so important, and I love days like that, honestly.
Because the time flies.
Oh, for sure, and that's when we perform the best too. Especially Moe's tradition. It's after we get our butts handed to us on a crazy basketball game or football game, you'll see us at the bar taking shots at makers, being "Good job, guys!" Such a good camaraderie when everybody's working hard like that together.
Chef Jabari says grab and go is where it's at, and kudos to Christina and Mose. This is the smart business model right now. Let me ask you a tough question. You are the future. You got a great job. You have disposable income. You have a phenomenal vertical career path here. What do you think is the future of restaurants from a fine dining standpoint?
Oh, that is.
When is the last time you've gone to a fine dining establishment? And she's got money here, guys.
I guess it depends on what you refer to as fine dining.
Is the Fitzroy fine dining?
No, Jerry.
Okay.
That's my 2 a.m. spot.
Okay, Fitzroy's not fine dining. Okay, so when's the last time you sat down and you had like a white cloth napkin meal?
Probably about maybe 3 weeks ago. I was celebrating one of my friends. She moved to Charlotte, and so a big group of us went out to dinner. And I noticed instantly off the bat the labor shortage in the restaurant, and I have a kind of a unique perspective.
Yeah, dude, you can't go into a restaurant without dissecting.
Oh
it,
my
right?
gosh, no! And my friends were all like, "Tina, stop! It's fine, Tina."
Right.
And I'm like, I wish I could help them. Like, I'm always that person who, like, somebody spills, I'm like patting it up and looking around the corner for a mop in places that I probably shouldn't be allowed to go as a customer. Just always trying to help.
Care.
I know, I do.
So what do you think? Do you think the fine dining is and we're not trying to throw shade on anyone here, but do you think that's the soft spot of food and beverage?
Potentially. I mean, fine dining is going to evolve. I mean, it still is evolving, but I think there's going to be a massive switch too. I think, compared to all of these restaurants who are able to accommodate the to-go and, the more casual sit-down where you can kind of sit down, eat for 30 minutes and go, and it's not a 2-hour part of your day. I think that's going to be a tough one for fine dining restaurants to be able to adapt to and compete with.
She's crushing it. You got a question coming in from Southwestern Virginia in Danville, and this is from Travis Hackworth. He says, Christina, what is your advice to any local restaurant that is having staffing issues that may be dealing with frequent closings or irregular hours? Suggestions on how to better manage that. We're seeing a lot of that locally. Mm-hmm. Like restaurants that we've really grown to love being inconsistent with their days open and their hours open. Mm-hmm. And a perfect example of this is yesterday around 6 p.m., I stopped into Bel Air Market right down the road from you, mm-hmm. and they had to close the deli at 6 because they had a bunch of call-outs. And they couldn't staff the deli. Yeah. And this is Bel Air Market, which is a machine. Well, I mean, you grew up going to this market.
Yeah, they crank sandwiches.
Right?
They crank.
So Travis is asking you as a GM, what's the advice you give to the restaurants that can't get the staff to keep the hours consistent?
It's so tough. I am very fortunate at Moe's that my staff, I can count the number of times that each member of my staff has called out on a shift, but I know that that's not the case for other restaurants. And I would say if you're experiencing that, maybe consistently, organization is key, and maybe plan for that and be like, hey, I can't afford to be open 7 days a week with these call outs. Maybe have people, close 2 days a week, close Monday, Tuesday, or whatever, and be like, hey, these are the 2 days that you need to do your things and get your stuff done outside of your life, and then be open the 5 days a week, because consistency is key all around the board when it comes to your food, your hours, your operations. And so for the customer's sake and for the guest satisfaction, you definitely want to keep up with the consistency. But it's tough, and every situation is unique and different, and everybody deals with it their own way.
Jenny Street giving you props.
Oh, I love Jenny. I hope the kids have had a good first week at school, Jenny.
Rita Salsini giving you some props right now. Questions, comments, thoughts for Christina, put them live on the feed. Ooh, this is a good one. Jerry, you talk about Stonefield all the time, and clearly Christina knows what's up. Ask her on her take of Stonefield and what she thinks of the shopping center's future. Ooh,
so
that's
I have
one.
An insider take of Stonefield. I lived over in the Stonefield Commons for about 2 years.
You did?
I did, yes, right out of college.
So we should set the stage. Where's Stonefield Commons? Let them know.
So right behind the Hyatt Hotel, the first building behind the Hyatt Hotel is Stonefield Commons, which is an apartment complex for 2 4-bedroom apartments. Very nice complex. I had no issues there whatsoever. Management is great. It's a nice apartment complex right next to Costco. Central, awesome location for anything. You're right next to Costco if you need things. You're in Stonefield. But I honestly think the thing that's lacking the most in Stonefield is the Seaville feel. We always talk about, me and you, Jerry, when you come into Moe's, we always talk about how how personal Seville is and how all of, the restaurants, the owners, the staff. It's a very personalized experience, and I think that that's lacking in Stonefield. I just would love to see more small businesses. You had that on your show last week or maybe the week before about how there's no small businesses that are able to survive, and I absolutely agree with that take. And I think Stonefield could do a better job of making it, more small business friendly and local friendly.
Dude, you're crushing it right now. What's your UVA corner take? And this is a great person to ask because she grew up here.
Yes.
So you saw the corner in prime.
Oh, yes.
And then you also went to school here.
Yes.
You went to UVA.
Yes.
The corner, and you would know better than I would. It seems like I went to school here 2000 to 2004.
Okay.
It seems like the corner has lost some momentum.
I would agree with that.
Okay, why do you think that's the case?
Honestly, the townies. I would have to give it to the townies for kind of taking over the corner, should you say. And I mean,
you're a townie.
I'm not immune to that.
Yeah.
Sure, I'm not, I'm a
you're
townie
a hybrid.
too.
You're a hybrid. Yeah, she's a student.
Hybrid, that's fine. That's a good way to put it. But definitely, when I was there too, you had, I don't know, it was just a different feel, and I feel like you've got all of these kids down there now, and I wouldn't step foot in a bar on the corner, just, I would feel automatically 10 years older than anybody in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has lost some momentum. The small business aspect, again, is not, where I would love for it to be, and that's why I tend to hang out downtown. And I think as UVA evolves, as COVID shapes the direction UVA is going, the corner is obviously going to evolve too, but I wish that the corner was the way that it was. Obviously, hindsight's 2020.
Sure. Amy Grace Cook watching. She says you're crushing it right now. I concur.
Amy Grace was a good friend of mine in high school.
I concur. I mean, she's repping Seville and Western and her business extremely well. Kevin Yancey, loved your answer about treating your employees like assets and not liabilities, like family. Thank you for watching in Waynesboro, Kevin Yancey. So, are you very bullish, or are you very excited about the potential with downtown Charlottesville, or are you concerned about downtown Charlottesville? Because depending on who you ask, some people are like, hey, maybe downtown doesn't have as much offerings if you want to do stuff besides music and bars, which I can see that.
Sure.
I mean, that's the pool. Mm-hmm. But if you want to do music and bars, there's no better place to go. And a lot of us want to do music and bars.
Oh yeah, I'm in my prime of doing the music and bars right
so
now.
this is right up your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm actually going to the Laney and Surfaces concert tonight at the Pavilion, so I will be down here out and about. I love downtown, especially as I've gotten older. I never used to frequent downtown, except my mom would drop me off at Fridays after 5 when I was 13 and be like, don't leave the Pavilion, just typical mom stuff. But I love going downtown. I have so many friends in the industry who are bartenders, and so I kind of just bar hop around. And granted, I'm not spending a great deal of time down here, so I don't, get to see all of the flaws that downtown has. But I know that you've touched on that a few times in your show about, the homeless aspect down here and, the business in general of downtown. But I think that I'm hopeful that downtown will continue to maintain the momentum that it's had over the past 20 years.
Me too.
I'm optimistic.
Me too. I'm optimistic as well. Pete Cole says Christina's the absolute best. I think he was a team member at Moe's.
He is my PFG rep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Your PFG rep says you're fantastic and you're killing this this interview. So folks are asking me to bring up the Great Resignation with you, where so many people during COVID quit jobs and they went and tried to reinvent themselves or find different careers. And then we were like, where's everybody working? How are they paying their bills? What the hell is going on here? Because the stimulus money ran out.
Sure.
The unemployment money ran out.
Sure.
What is your take on what these folks did?
So I think initially in the beginning, obviously people were quitting because they realized they could be making more money off of unemployment. And then, you have time to kind of sit around and make that money off of unemployment and maybe rethink your career path. And I don't know if this is the case for everyone, but I'm sure that some of these people went back to school, switched industries, a plethora of things that happened. But something that we've had to endure at Moe's is competing with other restaurants, and that was, trying to get people in there. If you're offering, say, $12 an hour on wage, but, Chick-fil-A is offering $15 for a, cashier, how do you compete with that? You have to make what you're offering appealing. So we've definitely increased our wages. We've kind of entice people with obviously the food truck and offsite catering events. You get paid more to do those things. So, I hate to say that money is a contributing factor, but it absolutely is. And people, aren't going to work for you if you can't get them, the same kind of money that other places are offering.
How does, you mentioned Chick-fil-A, how does Chick-fil-A continue to have an army of people working there? They get 16-year-old kids, you've seen this. They get teenagers to wait outside in exhaust fumes, depending on the weather, to take orders to expedite the fast food.
You're so right.
How the hell do they do that?
I don't know. I remember in the beginning of COVID, we were talking about whoever was running the Chick-fil-A drive-through during COVID
should do the vax shots.
Should be in charge of the COVID task force in the White House. It is robotic to a T. They have got it down. I don't know. I don't think I will ever understand the Chick-fil-A mindset. I wish I could.
I mean, it's unbelievable what they're doing.
It really is.
So you've got you got a lot coming in here. Will you guys ever do a brisket burger? That question's being asked here.
I've actually never thought about a brisket burger. We offer brisket. Today's brisket day. Go into Moe's and get your brisket today. But we're doing brisket Wednesdays, Saturdays. I'm hoping that we can kind of incorporate burnt ends in there some day of the week. That's a hope of mine because I get so many requests for burnt ends and we've just never done it. So hopeful about that.
I talked on yesterday's show of how the Ivy Road corridor is one of the best corridors for a restaurant in this community because it's underserved. And because UVA is building a hotel, a conference center. They just launched that orthopedic center Dr. Chabra led. That Centera's got the one next to it. The data science school's coming out there.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord, Christina, it's just on fire.
I love talking about the Ivy Corridor. I think it's a fantastic kind of guinea pig of how places in Charlottesville can evolve and look to the Ivy Corridor of expansion. It's a food desert over there. You've used that phrase multiple times on the show, and it couldn't be more the truth. You really, honestly, you have us in foods. If you don't, want a bag of chips from 7-Eleven, or you don't want to, Vivace's not even open for lunch. So you've really got us, and then, go down a little bit further, you've got Bel Air Market. But I think our business has been booming since they started doing construction on the Ivy Corridor from the construction workers, down the road on the Emmett Ivy corner. And then from that hotel, we've done a bunch of massive caterings for all of the construction workers at that hotel, and they come in for lunch, they come in for dinner, and so our business has been booming. But I can't imagine how everybody else would be doing if there were even other options over there. And so I hope that UVA is able to look at that and be like, wow, we could really be providing for all of our staff at UVA to go to this one area, especially an area that they partially own. They own most of it actually. So not only would they be able to kind of booster that and advertise that, but not send so many people to Barracks Road or wherever, and not require their employees to go so far for lunch.
You are killing this. Johnny Ordinalis is watching the show. He owns Guadalajara and El Mariachi. Debbie Brewer, welcome to the broadcast. 4 restaurant owners watching you on the feed right now. What do you make? Let me ask you this. We'll change gears from restaurants because you're perfect to ask this question to. Aaron King, hello. That's another Western Almar graduate. I believe the ops manager at Feast,
okay.
Aaron King. Do you, let's talk housing.
Oh, another favorite topic.
You love this topic.
Oh my gosh.
She is all over Zillow. Anything that comes on the market, especially when the listings were going out of control and they were selling for like 100,000 over, we would send the listings back and forth, and she's like, "Did you see this one? It's under contract 2 minutes after we went
Jerry,
there."
Look at this 2-bedroom house for sale for $400,000.
Right. And that's when you were looking.
Oh yeah.
So this is a perfect question for you. You have a phenomenal job.
Yes.
You're paid well.
Yes.
You love this community.
Yes.
You were looking to buy a house.
Yes.
Walk us through
I have been in the housing market since I was probably about 23 years old and have not pulled the trigger, especially lately, just because I'm just I can't bring myself to pay this kind of absurd money for houses right now. And put
it in perspective.
So growing up here, knowing what houses look like I just feel like I know what a house is worth. I don't know how. I don't have any real estate experience at the moment, and so I really, I'm just kind of pulling these numbers out of my head. Be like, that house is just not worth $400,000.
What's the eye test?
Yeah, for sure.
Eye test.
Oh yeah, and I'm such a design fiend. My Pinterest board is insane, full of interior designs, and so I look at these pictures and I'm like, that kitchen's a little outdated. That's scrape $10,000 off the price for that, and so I just can't imagine buying a house right now in this market. And, rent is a whole other topic. Rent is absurd, anywhere you go, but in particular Charlottesville. And so,
Put the rent in perspective. How absurd it is.
Okay, so I just moved into a house earlier in the summer, and I have 2 roommates. Our house is a 6-bedroom house.
That's huge.
It's crazy huge.
Yeah.
And we each pay under $800 for rent.
Okay, so you got the best deal in Charlottesville.
We have the best deal in Charlottesville. I don't know how I finagled it.
Yeah.
I went into that house from paying $1,500 a month.
This is Stonefield Commons?
Nope. This is an in-between place. I was living in a house off of Locust Avenue.
Okay.
I was paying $1,500 a month for a 2-bedroom basement apartment in a house off of Locust. So I cut my rent in half, doubled my home in size, and so I'm just always looking for the best deal when it comes to that.
How did Stonefield Commons compare?
Stonefield wasn't bad. When I was at Stonefield, I was paying on average, just granted, I moved out in the middle of COVID, but I was paying right around $1,000 in rent, plus utilities put me at around $1,200. So pretty average, but I was getting all of the amenities. I had 24-hour access to the pool, to the gym. I had maintenance on call all the time, and going from an apartment complex community to a house is just a very different,
Well, especially since you have a dog.
Oh, yes, my sweet Coco.
Yeah, so having the backyard in the house is critical.
Yes.
So this is resonating with the viewers and listeners. You have Danny O'Day, a Western grad. He and his fiance are looking to buy a house. They get married in November. I believe, Danny, that's right.
Congratulations.
He says, I'm in the same position on housing as Christina. It's so tough knowing and loving the community and wanting to stay here, but seeing the housing market skyrocket out of reach just when you're getting to the point you used to think you could break into the housing market.
Yes.
I mean, do you identify with that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, people are like, well, you should just, rent, save your money, but how do you save your money when rent is the way that it is?
Well, and I want to highlight this. In a lot of ways, you're an anomaly here because you have a really, really good job here. Mm-hmm. You are paid very well.
Yes.
So, like, for someone, I don't want to ask your age here with a lot of people watching. I would imagine you're in your mid-20s.
Yes.
Okay? So someone who's looking to buy in the house that's in their mid-20s that has money and is hesitant to do it, that says we may have a crisis here. Do you think it's a crisis?
It's becoming one, absolutely. And I think, we've been talking about for months, like a recession's coming. The stock market has been tanking. My stocks are in the toilet right now. So is my IRA account, which is terrifying. Same. It's crazy. I'm even thinking about that as a 25-year-old. But I think eventually there's going to be a massive shift. I think the market's going to crash all around the board. And so, hopefully when that happens, things kind of turn around a little bit, give it some time. But, then there's the interest rate issue that's just astronomical as well.
Alex Craig giving you props. Kathy Maynard giving you props. Coach Darren Maynard, if you're watching, we love you, Coach. God, Western Almaro is well represented on today's program.
Love the Maynards.
Warrior Nation is crushing it here. Kevin Yancey says, I'm a Western grad, 40-year anniversary this year. So you got a Western Warrior that's celebrating his 40-year anniversary this year. And then you got Christina, who graduated what year?
2015 from Western. And my brother is currently a sophomore at Western.
Danny O'Day, what year did you graduate from Western? Put it in the feed. Aaron King, what year did you graduate from Western?
Danny, I can tell you, Danny graduated in 2014.
Okay, so you know Danny.
Yes, I do.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Do you remember Aaron King?
I don't.
She might have been a little bit before your time.
I don't.
What year were you, EK? Put it in the feed here. Do you think, here's a tough question, is Charlottesville over-restauranted?
That is a tough question.
Are there too many restaurants in Charlottesville?
I don't know the answer to that question. I think that the
You're
answer...
playing, this is the first question you've played safe.
I mean, yes, this is the first question I played safe.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure because I think depending on, what kind of restaurant you're looking for, like, could there be more fast casual restaurants like Moe's? Absolutely. In terms of fine dining, I think we're overpopulated for sure. And, with that, the inflation issue, the dine-in issue, that's tough to compete with places like Moe's, places like Zazu's, places, that are able to, or not Zazu's, Pico Wrap, sorry.
Because you're basically saying a restaurant that was already expensive before inflation has gotten just to be even more expensive.
Oh, yes.
So the customer base is so slim for
Yes, it was so slim to begin with, Prime 109 as a prime example. You're going to Prime 109 and can't escape out of there without a $300 bill. It's like, these days it would be $500. So, we raised our prices at Moe's for the first time in 7 years, 2 years ago. And, we felt weird about raising them like $1 or $2, but it's what you got to do. And, inflation's even worse now than it was when we decided to do that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
100%. Multiple people are asking, what are your favorite places to eat besides Moe's?
Oh, I'm a diehard Vivace fan. Jeff does a phenomenal job over there.
Awesome.
Jeff does a phenomenal job over there. The man is getting older and he still is working, all day, every day, and doing everything. I have huge respect for Vivace staff and for Jeff over there. I'm also a huge Passiflora fan downtown. They have really good drinks. Also, Bebedero.
Is the upstairs rooftop open in Passiflora?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
And I've been kind of disappointed in that because I feel like it's been in the
a
works
rooftop
for
bar,
years.
and it's post-COVID.
Yes, and I feel like it's been years in the making. Yeah.
Right. So what else do you like?
I love Bebedero. One of my favorite bartenders, Micah Gersantis, is one of the bartenders over there. Phenomenal dude, expert mixologist. Love him to death. I just loved pretty much anything downtown. It's great.
This question's coming in the feed. Ask Christina, what is Charlottesville missing? We ask that question a lot on the show. What is Charlottesville missing?
That's another hard question.
If you were not saying that you're gonna do this, Derek, she's super happy over at Moe's, super happy at Moe's. If you were gonna start your own shop, what would you be doing? And Jamari Peacock says, oh, she famous.
Oh, Jamari was played on the football team at UVA, and he was a student of mine. I tutored him when he was in college.
He's giving you some props as we speak here. If you were gonna start any business, F&B, what niche would it be?
Fast casual, absolutely. Okay. I want to say somewhere in between, not like a burger joint, but like hot sandwiches, salads, deli sandwiches. I think that's missing. I can only name like a handful of places I feel like that you can go in and sit down and have a hot deli sandwich type of deal and be able to get it out of there in half an hour.
Yeah, Judah, we say that, right? What else do we say? We said hot chicken is missing. We've said, what else is missing on this program?
Denny's.
What do you call it?
Denny's.
Well, the 24-hour diner. You said the 24-hour late night option. Waffle House on 5th is closed.
Really?
No labor. Where do we go late night?
Wait. Isn't there something coming in there?
There is something coming in.
I live right over there.
Are you thinking the Wawa coming to where Hardee's is?
Yes.
Yeah, Wawa coming to where Hardee's is. What is the late night thing to do? Post bars closing, is there anything at all now?
So post bars closing, like meaning after 2 a.m.
Yeah,
There's nothing after
nothing,
2 a.m.
right?
Literally nothing. You finish up bars, you go home. And I think that a lot of places downtown have the potential to, and I being in the restaurant industry, nobody wants to be working till 4 a.m. If you're closing at 2 a.m., you're there till 4 or 5 in the morning closing down, and then the party continues after the fact. But Jack Brown's, I would love to see Jack Brown's extend their alcohol past 1 a.m. I found that out the other day. I was out at the Fitzroy, decided to go home a little bit early, but wanted to grab something
Last
to eat.
call's at 1 at Jack Brown's?
Yes.
Get out.
1 or 1:30, yes.
And that's labor?
I'm not sure. It's alcohol and food, I believe. I could be mistaken.
Dude, you're a diehard sports fan. One of my favorite aspects of ponying up over a cold beer when she's behind the bar is talking sports with her. She knows UVA sports like inside and out. You're a diehard UVA fan. Does it not surprise you there's not a proper sports bar in this town?
Yes, absolutely.
Like what? Why not?
I don't know.
What sports bar would you go to?
I do know. Virginia alcohol laws are just off the board ridiculous.
Put it in perspective.
You have to sell a certain amount of food versus alcohol in order to be considered, you can't, there's no bars in Charlottesville.
Right,
really.
they're restaurants.
They're restaurants that serve liquor and alcohol.
Is it 60-40? Food to booze?
It's either 60-40 or 70-30.
Okay.
I can't quite remember, but I know a ton of restaurants that teeter right on that edge.
Right.
And so I think, that is a huge reason why there's no sports bars where you can go and watch, games and stuff.
Because you're saying the volume of food would not be there for those businesses.
Sure, yes. Volume of food, because people just want to go and catch a beer and, watch the game and do all that stuff. And, it's kind of hard for, you do that at just a bar in Virginia because of the liquor license.
Okay,
laws.
so that's a fresh take. So she's got a take on everything here. She's fantastic for a talk show here. She's got something to say about every topic. So you're saying the antiquated ABC laws are what is keeping a true, authentic sports bar from happening. That is a great take. I had not have thought about that.
Location, you want a sports bar to be, ideally close to whatever sporting arena, event, stadium you're trying to promote. And, UVA is kind of just this bubble where there's not a lot of sports bars. You've got Boylan Heights, which is right off of, University, overtaken by college students, arguably some underage kids in there,
undoubtedly.
As a mid-20s, I don't really want to be seen hanging out with the 17, 18-year-olds. But then think about where else is there. There's really nothing in the inner bubble.
Where would we go to watch a game? You got Citizen. Citizen's the closest thing to a sports bar downtown, right? UVA Corner, you already touched on Boylan Heights. You got Ralph's and Barracks Road. Where do you go, Ivy? Maybe the bar at Vivace. They have one TV. Is it two TVs at the bar at Vivace?
One or two.
Right. So, where do you go to watch? You got Peloton. I'm a huge fan of Peloton Station for folks that watch this program. It's significantly.
Here is a hot take for you.
Oh, please.
Is the space where World of Beer used to be.
Yeah, still empty.
Phenomenal potential.
Yes, it does.
I lived in the Flats for a few years when I was at UVA, and it was World of Beer, and that place stayed empty. I wondered why it stayed open as long as it did. That would be the most fantastic hub for anything UVA related. I just wish that somebody would take the bite, an investor.
Well, why do you think the WOB spot, the World of Beer spot, never worked out? And it was World of Beer, and then the owners of World of Beer got fed up with paying the World of Beer franchising fees, so then they tried to change it to Jefferson Ale House.
I remember that.
Jefferson Ale House was literally open for a New York minute, literally like a cup of coffee, then it closed. But to her point, that spot is super dope.
Yes.
It's got this hardscape outside area with cornhole boards and fire pits and TVs, and a boatload of inside TVs.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The bar is massive.
It's massive.
It's massive.
Why did it not take off?
I think location-wise, it could be better. You've got that's kind of a far travel for students, especially if you're thinking about the students that live, closer to Rugby Road, to Mad Bowl. That's, kind of a little bit of a hike for them. And then, it's kind of, there's nothing really going on between the end of where the WOP spot is to where you got Maya and El Barco, that area. So kind of a little, I guess, stop in business, as you would put it.
What went through your mind when you heard 977-2710 closed? Do you know that phone number? 977-2710, the College Inn.
Oh.
When you heard the College Inn closed on the UVA corner?
Why do you have that number memorized?
Dude, the College Inn kept me alive in college.
Yeah, I remember ordering
I swear to God,
some
all I
cheesy
ate was
bread.
College Inn.
I remember ordering cheesy bread many a nights when I was at UVA at 2, 3 a.m.
When it closed, you're talking about an icon on the corner. What went through your mind?
I was so sad. That place is so good. And then I feel like there has been a Chipotle sign in that door forever.
Chipotle,
They have ads on Indeed. They've had ads on Indeed for a while, and maybe they're doing inside stuff. I'm sure they are. It's boarded up, and they've got the Chipotle sign, but I would love to see that pop through. I'm also kind of amazed that the sheets on the corner closed as well.
Yeah.
I have videos on my phone of me chugging drinks and eating French fries
at Sheetz
at
Late night.
3 a.m.
So you were a fan of the made to order subs?
Packed.
Yeah,
absolutely packed.
Huh.
There's no way that they closed because of their sales. I can tell you that.
Well,
no way.
Ray Cadell says get her take on Wild Wings and the fact that Wild Wings closed. Remember that, the sports bar by the train station?
By the train tracks.
Yeah,
that's a hard one. I remember they were one of the first businesses to close.
During COVID, that's right.
I feel like COVID happened for it was a 2-week thing, and then they were we're done.
It was Downtown Grill and then Wild Wing Cafe. She's exactly right. The first two ones to close.
Yes.
Now, they were also the two largest ones.
Sure.
So their rent and their overhead was through the roof.
Sure. Yeah. But at the same time, wings are, it's like us at Moe's, wings are so easy to be able to adapt to go and to take out. But I also see the aspect of there's no sports going on, people don't need wings for any type of event. So, when your whole entire restaurant is based off of kind of sports and sports go away, like I don't, that's a tough one to have to adapt to.
You're getting props from Catherine Dabney, Lori Griggs. Multiple people are putting 1972, 2006. I'm assuming this is when they graduated from Western. 2009, 2013. This question, have you been to Luce yet? What do you think of the small locations that crank out food out of like hidden windows off the downtown mall? That's the pasta joint?
Yes, I have not been to Luce yet. I have a best friend, Catherine Young, CBS 19 anchor. She loves Luce, and I have not been there yet, but I have so much respect for those places that crank out like that. I worked at Hunt Country Market and Deli in high school, right off of Garth Road across from Foxfield, and we would crank out those sandwiches, for hours on end. And I think that just, people have so much respect for establishments like that because they realize the volume that they're taking in the space that they have, and that's just such a great experience. You also feel like you're getting something super homey and mom and pop recipe type of thing when you have from establishment like that.
Dude, you're a host's dream here. She's got a take on everything. I love it. Jack Meisner, am I saying his last name right?
Yes, hi Jack. That's Catherine Young's boyfriend.
She watching, giving you props right now. Let me throw this to you here. What? Give me some takes that you have that you rattle off left and right. The show is yours. Any take you want to offer for the viewer and listener, just make sure it's a good take.
Okay.
I'm literally putting her on the spot.
You are. Jerry, you told me there would be no surprises.
I know. This is music, but you're killing it.
You went
I was going to go 30 minutes with you. You're
all right,
46 minutes in.
How about you rattle off some all right, Tina, what's your take on this? What's your take on this? Just give me some things that you have opinions on. I'll give you my take.
Okay, so what is your take on, let's see here. What's your take on Midtown Charlottesville, the West Main Strip?
Like where we were just talking about.
Connell Divide, Maya.
I'm obsessed with Maya. They
Yeah.
have the best bartender in town, obviously.
Ted Norris.
Yes,
Yeah.
I had a really good server there named Joyce. She was a dream. Their food is phenomenal. I love Maya. Would love to see them, potentially migrate into a larger space because they could absolutely handle the volume that they crank out. I think that place could be developed a little bit more, honestly. With more fine dining establishments. We were just talking about that earlier, if fine dining is going to be able to survive, but I think that there is a place for those people coming from the downtown mall. I feel like the restaurants on the mall could get a little repetitive, especially if you work down here.
Totally.
Especially lunch options. A lot of places aren't open for lunch anymore, so that place could crank out quick, nice walk, take your hour lunch break, walk to West Main, get a little sandwich or something.
What Frank Vritros giving you some props right now. Food truck. Why? And you guys have a food truck.
Oh yeah.
Most has a food truck. Why or what needs to happen for Charlottesville to be more of a food truck scene?
More events. More events open to the public. Right now we've got the Pavilion. We do that every other month, which is one of my favorite venues. King Family, also have a fantastic relationship with them. But I think that there needs to be more public space venues, whether that's being utilized at Ix Park. I think Ix Park has a tremendous amount of potential that is not being used. You could bring so many food trucks there all the time, especially, the farmer's market. You could have trucks at the farmer's market. Like, there's so many places in Charlottesville that could be utilizing the food truck scene more.
If you could live in any neighborhood in the city, which one would it be and why?
In the city or in Albemarle County?
City only. And then we'll do Albemarle County.
Park
Street? Mm-hmm. Okay, Albemarle County.
Ivy. Free
Ivy?
Union, Millington Road.
Okay, there you go. This question, how important is it that the owner is seen at the restaurant on a regular basis?
That's a great question.
That's from Scott in Virginia Beach.
That for me is a stickler. And I guess that I'm a little spoiled because I worked alongside the Abrams who were there basically every day. And so I've, kind of grown up per se, working alongside working owners. I think that is huge because you want to go in, and I think it also contributes to the family aspect. You see the owners here, you see the owners taking care of their staff, you see them, interacting with the staff. Nobody's frozen up like, oh gosh, the owner's here, like I have to perform adequately. It just like eases and relaxes the feel of the entire restaurant, and it also shows that the owner really cares about the restaurant and the customer service base, and not just like cash flow opportunity for the owners.
You are crushing this, and when you see Christina, tell her she's crushing it. And to the point, Scott, I'm going to show her this text you just sent me. Look at the text he sent. I mean, he says you're an awesome guest right there. You see it?
Yes, that's it.
You're getting props over here. Props left and right on the feed here. Folks want us to play Charlottesville trivia with you.
Oh, let's go!
You can't hang in Charlottesville trivia, can you?
I bet you I can.
Okay, I have two
I
or
hope so.
three.
Okay, wait. Let's just preface this. Nothing before 1995.
Okay, well, I have 2 or 3 go-to ones that I always utilize,
Okay.
Judah. Are you ready? What is the oldest restaurant in the city of Charlottesville? Oldest restaurant in the city of Charlottesville.
In the city. Oh, that is a hard one.
The Virginian, 1923. Virginian restaurant. Here's my other go-to. These would be good fodder
I feel like
at
these are
Moe's.
hard.
Where's the only escalator in the city of Charlottesville? The
Michael's.
only escalator. Yeah, Michael's. Michael's and
Easy.
Barrett Short. She got that one.
Give or take working escalator.
People normally get stumped on that one. What is the oldest restaurant on the downtown mall?
Oh gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. The Nook.
C&O. C&O,
Is
the
that
oldest.
closest? The Nook the second.
I think Sal's Cafe Italia
Okay.
might be in the 2 slot.
No disrespect, I'm sorry.
The Nook or the Nook I think is in the 3 slot. The Nook is a very good one. How about this question? Ooh, this is a good one that's coming from Buckhead, Georgia. Can she highlight the impact of a good football team and a good basketball team on business?
Oh my
like
gosh.
sales
Yes.
on a good year versus sales on a bad year from a sports performance standpoint.
Oh, that's a great question. That's not the angle that I thought that question was going to take. Being from, Moe's is a small franchise. The boys started it down in Tuscaloosa. I spent my first year of college in Tuscaloosa. So they've got a store, that caters to the Alabama football team. And out the gate, once NLIs became a thing, like they had so many football players coming in and their sales are booming. Same with the Auburn store. Like those are the 2 most profitable stores that we have because they have great SEC football teams. I think every year, the beginning of the football season, and same with basketball. I mean, you've got some diehard UVA basketball fans that are just, through and through going to love Tony Bennett forever. But I think this year, especially with the new coach, my restaurant is going to be booming because people are excited about the new coach. They're excited about the season. There's a lot of coaching staff changes. Tony Elliott is really turning the program around, I think, and so I think we're going to be busy with that. I already got a catering order for next weekend. She called yesterday. So,
really?
Yes, and it's 10 days out.
Were you working in Charlottesville during the Final Four in 2019 with the basketball team?
Yes.
And where did you watch the Final Four? That's a question.
Yes, so I was working at Moe's. I was just a cashier at the time. I was a student in my senior year, 4th year at UVA. I watched the Final Four and the national championship at the KA fraternity house.
Okay.
And then we rushed the corner, and I have some pictures and videos of me in the corner. I didn't make it onto the light post or anything like that, but I definitely was deep in the mob scene. And funny story, the last time that UVA went to the Final Four was when my mom was a 4th year at UVA, which would have been in, sorry mom, 87.
A lot of people are watching this. We don't want to get Mrs. Blunt upset with us. She might be watching. This question, what is your take on August 12th, and has the city of Charlottesville recovered from May 12th? Great question.
I think something like that is going to be ingrained in Charlottesville's history forever. It's kind of like grieving. You're not really ever going to, quote, recover from it, but I think that there's ways that you can move on and better the situation. Going off of that, I think people definitely are a little bit more reserved when they come to the downtown mall. And so, I think that's not going to go away for a while. I think that, there's always going to be a stigma around Charlottesville for the years to come, unfortunately. But I think that UVA is making great strides to kind of better the history surrounding by Charlottesville to, promote the university with incoming students.
Dude, you're so good at this. We got to get her back on the show. Judah Wickhart. This has been a breeze. How about some closing thoughts? What can the viewers and listeners expect from Moe's?
Yes.
And then close with this. Why are you excited about Charlottesville's future and potential?
Okay, great questions. I am super excited about the direction that Moe's is going in. Derek is very fresh to the barbecue side of things, and it's definitely, letting me kind of run the show because I have so much experience with Moe's, really putting a lot of emphasis and responsibility on our staff and kind of, letting them teach him the ropes. And so I have a ton of ideas, as does my staff, about new specials, Being open 7 days a week, I have an idea about trivia or bingo coming to Moe's on Ivy Road, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully trying to get more into a smaller sports bar type of thing.
Get out of town. That would be awesome.
Yes, I want.
So is that why Jack's putting trivia or bingo on the feed right here?
Yes, Jack, you've ruined it.
Jack, I love it.
I put that in my friends group chat to say which one they would prefer. So I would love to get some more TVs in there.
That would be awesome.
Those are my favorite days of the year, is the football games and the basketball game days. And we're so close to UVA. I think it just is an aspect of the business that needs to be capitalized on.
Dude, and on top of that, there's no option really on Ivy to watch sports.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, you have like the one TV at Vivace, but besides that, you have two, right?
We have two TVs, yes.
You have two. If you did a wall of TVs, that would crush.
So before COVID, we actually had two TVs in the corners. If you're familiar with the building, there's two corners that we had two TVs in, and then once COVID hit, we didn't have anybody in the restaurant for 4 days, or 4 months, so we didn't have the TVs in there. We took them down.
You're getting props from Robert Blunt. Is that family?
That is my cousin.
Okay, your cousin is giving you some serious props. What's up, Robert Blunt? Welcome to the show. Dude, you would crush if you had a wall. You obviously already know this. You're a diehard sports fan. You know the market better than I do here. If you had a wall of TVs, that would crush.
Yes, wall of TVs. I have some ideas to get some NLIs going on with some of the football players. Barry Parkhill with the Virginia Athletic Foundation is a huge contact of mine, who throws any of those guys my way. So I have a lot of contacts within UVA that I'm hopeful to capitalize on in the coming sports seasons. So stay tuned for some up and coming things for Moe's and UVA. I'm very excited about it.
And the potential of Charlottesville?
Potential of Charlottesville, it's great. It's great. I think there's a lot of things that, need to be worked out in terms, and this, is on more of a national scale as well. Inflation, cost of living, housing. The cost of living in Charlottesville is astronomical compared to a bunch of other places.
It's obscene.
And that goes deep. That's another conversation
for
another day. But
sure.
Maybe focusing more on the townies and making sure that the people that have been staples of Charlottesville, contributed to the community, contributed to the growth, are able to stay here and are not forced out by all of the incoming families and people that are moving here for the university and other job opportunities.
Dude, home run. Catherine Young says, "Go Tina, go." I mean, I can't even keep up with the comments that are coming in. Derek Bond, Christina just represented Moe's extremely well. I mean, when you see Christina around town, give her props for a phenomenal interview. I swear I was going to go to 1 o'clock. It's 1:30.
Wow.
Yeah. Did you have fun?
Yes, so
Isn't
much
this fun?
Yes, please have me back, Jerry.
We will. We 100% will. We're throwing some shade to some other people over here, but Scott just said, no offense to Keith Smith or the Erpies, but Christina might have been your best guest of the year right here.
Wow.
Putting me in a hot spot over here, Scott. Tagging Keith in the comments here. Tagging Keith in the comments.
Wow.
Shots fired. We will have you back. I think, I sincerely mean this, and I sincerely meant it when I was passing it along to Derek when he was thinking about buying the business. I mean, people come there they came there to see Mike and Ashley. They come there to see you. You run the business extremely well. You are honest. You work hard. You're attentive to the customers. You care. You're friendly. You're talkative. You're approachable at the bar. I mean, I think it's just genuinely a very pleasant customer experience. And I sincerely, sincerely mean this. A lot of this is attributed to you. I swear to God.
That means a lot.
I swear and sincerely mean that. I thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
We will definitely get you back on. Why don't we, I didn't anticipate going this long, so I got to take a couple of minutes to get some items out of the notebook. So if you want to, you can bounce.
Okay.
No doubt about it. Judah, why don't we go to the one shot, and then we can offer some instruction here, and I'll get some items out of the notebook. Guys, tomorrow is Thursday, and tomorrow's show, Christina, you crushed it. Sincerely.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you. You too. Tomorrow, no guests on tomorrow's show, but we are doing the talk show at 12:30 where we have a lot to cover. Take care. On Friday's show, we have Kelly Jackson. She owns 17 Panera Breads. We'll talk about the restaurant business with KJ on Friday, but most notably why we have KJ on the show is she's a mother of a private school student and the mother of a public school student. So I'm going to ask a mom what the start of the school year has been like. A mom, what the start of Albemarle County public schools have been like. Today, you saw a lot of Albemarle County students. I think today was the first day for Albemarle County students. And I'm hearing that buses were an hour plus late to pick up students at the bus stop. So that means that the first day of school, a large portion of Albemarle County students were over an hour late for the first day of school. And the first day of school, you have all these jitters, this vulnerability, these uncertainties, this like excitement. You have these like intro periods, these icebreakers, where you're kind of just getting a feel for your homeroom and what the year's going to be. Showing up an hour late because of a school bus driver shortage is a big deal. If you were 12, 13, 14 years old and you're coming to school an hour late on the first day, that's going to give you some anxiety. So we'll talk about the private school, public school conundrum on Friday with Kelly Jackson, the mother of a public school student and the mother of a private school student. That's the show, man. I had fun today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. My name is Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille show. Judah Wickhauer is our director. Thank you kindly for joining us. So long, everybody.